Hello everyone. I don't even know where to start with this part of the video. This elder giving a discussion. Very interesting how they use the first book, 4 books of the Bible: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Some of these disciples was fishermen, and that's exactly what Watchtower uses to make Jehovah's Witnesses to be what they are today. You are fishermen of men. That's the reason why you go door to door to catch them, to bring them into Jehovah's organization. But close to the end is what really got to me. It was talking about Peter, the mistakes he made, quite a few. Christ did cancel him a few times. He even called him, or said to him, "Get back, Satan," when Peter basically told him that he didn't have to go to Jerusalem to go through what the disciples finally realized what he was going to go through for mankind, and death was one of them. So after that, that's when the nuclear explosion. How, when the government body tells you to do something, don't question. I'm not going to tell you word for word. I'm going to let you hear that for yourself. See, the problem I have here, if you follow the Bible, you don't need the government body to teach you or show you the path of being righteous. By following the Bible and using your heart and your conscience, then you can determine what's right from wrong. But using the disciples, which they was fishermen before they joined Christ, it's totally different than Jehovah's Witnesses. See, they're bringing people to Christ. Jehovah's Witnesses is bringing people to Jehovah. A Catholic man-made invention. Because, hey, God needed a name. So why not invent one so everybody could flock to be Catholics? Or in this case, flock to be Jehovah's Witnesses. But when Watchtower put in their literature and the voices of these men, for you give your devotion and remember, leave your brain outside of the Kingdom Hall. Otherwise, you could get yourself disciplined in the back room for thinking for yourself. So let's y'all sit back and listen to that almost close to the ending of the video. He's talking, and see the cult religion at its finest. So thank you very much, and y'all take care.
The apostle of love. In the world they say, oh, John was very mellow. He was the love guy. Well, he did write about love more than all the others, but remember, he was also one of the sons of thunder. So Jesus selects these men carefully. What about us? How are we? Can we see a relative comparison or between us and perhaps John and James? What would you think? What quality would you want to have, and yet what? We just talked about it. He was known, he wrote more about what, Sister Gross, than any of the others?
Well, he wrote about love, but he was very bold. So
That's
we
right.
want to have the boldness with it.
Good. Because remember, when we study this, we want to dig down into seeing, well, why are we studying about a chapter of the first 4 disciples? Because there's something there. There's something for us to learn and imitate about these men. Jesus selected them for a reason. And we have to look at that and say, well, what are the things that we can then get from this so that we can apply it? So we got James and John. Now we can say a lot. What would you say about Peter? A lot to say about Peter, right? What qualities would you say Peter had that you would like to imitate? Sister Cheney, Haley.
He was bold and not afraid to say his own statements.
Okay, good. What else? Sister West.
Peter, even though he wasn't always right, was always very enthusiastic about everything that he was doing.
That's right. And even though Peter messed up a couple of times, what did Jesus do? What was he able to look past that we can learn from that? Brother Gross.
Yeah, even though he made some very serious mistakes, very serious errors, Jesus recognized deep down inside, he really did love the truth. He loved Jehovah. He wanted to follow in Jesus' footsteps, just like all the other apostles and disciples did. So Jesus looked past that and saw the good in Peter.
So then how can you benefit from that? How can we benefit from that? Brother Sood.
Well, I appreciated Peter in the sense that when Peter made mistakes and Jesus helped him to see where he fell short, Peter decided to get past those mistakes and restore that relationship with Jesus and with Jehovah. So in the same way, there are times that we may make mistakes, we may get corrected, but that's where we can imitate Peter's example of not letting those mistakes take away from building that relationship with Jehovah.
Good, very good, thank you. And Brother Ulick, Gene.
Peter had tremendous zeal. He was, as a matter of fact, he was so zealous that sometimes that may have driven him in a lack of wisdom to commit some of the mistakes that he made. But after being corrected and changing certain things about his personality, but he never allowed the zeal to wane. He never allowed those corrections to affect his zeal. He always was tremendously zealous.
Good, thank you. Brother Black.
Another interesting quality about Peter shown in this account is when Jesus had instructed him, well, go out and drop your nets. But Lord, we fished all night. We didn't find anything. But you asked us to do it, we'll go do it. That showed his willingness to listen and take direction. And that was displayed also in other instances that when he reacted with Jesus. He listened, and when Jesus asked him to do something, he did it, even though he might not understand.
Good. Very good. So see, a lot of positive things. We've only dealt with the first question in this lesson, which at first glance you might have said, ooh, there's not a whole lot there. How's Brother Medina going to take a half hour on this? We can go an hour just with this first question. But see, when we dig a little deeper, when we look at what sort of men does Jesus call to be full-time disciples, look at the things that we can learn from just these four. And there's really so much more. Peter was given the keys to the kingdom. All of them had outstanding qualities, and that's why Jesus selected them. Now, it mentioned in the lesson, and there was a good point that Brother Black brought out. Peter, in this case, followed direction, didn't he? Yeah, we were out all night, didn't catch a thing. Peter, just go out into deeper water. Let's go out there, cast your net. Boy, the boats were sinking with so much fish that they were able to bring in. So that tells us, when Jehovah's organization says, look, just do what we're asking you to do. Don't question it. Do it. Do it, because before you know it, your boat is going to start to sink from all the good stuff you're going to bring in. And we know it didn't. And when it seemed like the boat was sinking, what was it that Peter did? What did he recognize? Which goes into the next question. What miracle was it that frightened him? Sister Finch.
Well, when he saw the miracle, he became very humble, and he said, "Depart from me, Lord, because I am a sinful man." So this is another quality that we see, that he was humble, he recognized his faults, but at the same time, Jesus still chose him to be one of the apostles or disciples.
Okay, thank you. Brother Owens.